Welcome to the Battlefield Show. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by Sammy Boy. But hey, today, before we get into the main meat of the episode, just wanted to let you know that this episode was recorded before we got the gameplay details. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get all the good juicy details in time, as well as find time to record another episode. But next episode, we're going to go over all the details. Hopefully, the patch notes are going to be out there. Long story short, gameplay looks fun. New specialist looks really fun. I'll get into more details on next episode, but the map, we're going to talk about the map. I think it looks fun. But again, art direction in Battlefield 2042, very disappointing, but I want to get more details on that before. And we'll see some other people get a hand of it. I saw I think Level Cap Gaming got some hands-on time and has some videos on that. So obviously want to get all the information for you. But keep that in mind as we talk about all the things in this episode. Now, on to the show. Welcome to the Battlefield Show. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by Sammy Boy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing just peachy keen today, and we are going to be hopping in and talking about Battlefield 2042 Season 4 and the vault weapons that we could be getting, as well as what details and information we could see for Seasons 4 and 5. Let's jump right in. First off, we have some news from the Inside Battlefield podcast, and they've been doing it pretty consistently. We'll see how frequently they continue to update it, but Battlefield Bulletin has our back in terms of pulling out the good juicy details. We're going to get 4 new weapons and 2 vault weapons at the start of Season 4. Vault weapons will grow to 20-ish during Season 4. And Battlefield 2042 currently has 16, so there should be more coming in later on in Season 2, Season 4 like they did in Season 3. And they're looking into skins and attachments for vault weapons as well. That's some good details right there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the bottom point there that they're finally going to, look into. It doesn't really confirm that they will, but they're looking into the skins and attachments, which is something that's like the only issue I have with the vault weapons. They're all fun to use, but pretty much all of them, I think the PP3000 might be the only one that actually has ammo attachments, and even then it's just 2.
Yeah,
that's really annoying because you run out of ammo very quickly, as well as they all just have a 30-round mag, and on most other guns I don't use that. So if they can put some ammo attachments, and then obviously skins are just always good because, I don't know, it's just more customization, it's more excitement when you unlock something. Those are big changes for me, and hopefully they do it. I know they mentioned a while back as well that they were going to think about it, and it's now nearly Season 4 and we still haven't gotten any. So hopefully the fact they've said it again means that they're maybe closer to getting it done. But all that news is really good, and especially the 4 new weapons. I didn't expect that because we usually get, most seasons we've gotten 2, and then I think last season we got 3.
Yes.
So to now get 4, that's, can't complain with them essentially increasing the speed at which we're getting content, even though it's not that much more. But it's, I'm very, very keen for that.
Yeah, it's something that I think it's good for some variety. I'm still, like I've said before, I'm still working my way and getting that back catalog of those weapons that have come out. I recently got the new shotgun, and man, the thing's nice. But it's just one of those things that it's good to play around with. It's another thing to keep you invested in the game, to unlock, as well as try out different combinations. I think it's good. I hope that the new weapons are interesting. Like we've said last time, it'd be nice to have some more snipers. But from the leaks and stuff that we've seen, it probably won't be snipers. It'll be more SMGs, which I think is fine. SMGs and maybe an assault weapon. We'll see in terms of the full release when it comes out. But again, the vault weapons are fun because they're there. They're in the game, might as well add them. Like, it's not huge. It's free content for them to bring over. I think it's funny how few that we get each season, considering they're already in a different part of the game, but you do have to balance it for the rest of the weapons. But I still don't understand that. Like, mentally, I don't understand the whole, like, oh, we have to run through these things. It's like, they're already available. Like, if you have a portal mode where all of the weapons and stuff are available throughout all of the different eras, like, you can use all those weapons in the other place. But
yeah, it is confusing. I wonder if it must be to do with like the same sort of thing, how they clearly can't just put, and I need to make sure I don't rant about this again, how they clearly can't put the server browser from Portal
don't even get me started
into All Out Warfare. I wonder if there is some sort of like slight difference between, almost like a different engine. It's obviously all in the same engine, but like it does feel like they're almost two separate games. And I wonder if the whole, like, you know, we need to rebalance it, is if they actually have to put it back into All Out Warfare, like, and there's more depth to that than we realize. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't. I kind of agree that doesn't really make sense.
It does not
when you first look at it, because it's like I can use an M5A3 in Portal against whatever gun they want to add as a vault weapon. I can already have a fight with someone with those two weapons. So why do you need to balance it again?
Yeah.
Unless it's also just literally because less people play Portal. So maybe they need to make sure there might be weapons in Portal that are like super overpowered that no one's really figured out because no one plays Portal. So maybe they have to just double check them. I'm not really sure, but
I think it just shows how little effort that they actually put into Portal. You remember when before the game launched and they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to be bringing more content. There's going to be at least 6 months of new content coming to Portal. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's huge. We could be getting Battlefield 1. We could be getting all of these things, right? They're like, no. That is in fact never going to happen, and you're an idiot for thinking that. That just means we will continue to update the game for bugs. That's what we mean by new content.
That's a misleading initial explanation, wasn't it? Because I think we all thought, oh my god, we're going to get like more Battlefield 4 maps, and maybe they'll add an extra game to Portal because they had the 3 at the start. Maybe we'll get Battlefield 1 or whatever, and I know they've added some guns to Portal, but like that's not that much in 16
When you say
months.
new content, I don't picture guns. Like, obviously, okay, that seems pretty fair. But like when you say new content, I'm like, oh man, that's like, it's got to be something good, right?
Yeah, for me, when they are confident in saying a year of content, to me that like the first thing I think of is maps. Every time, it doesn't matter any season, any game that comes out and they mention content, I'm thinking of maps straight away. Maps, modes, and probably like, depending on the game. For example, in like Battlefront 2, it'd be a new hero, something like that. I guess specialists in this game, but no one really likes specialists, so I don't think of that straight away.
Well, they've given up on specialists after season 4, so.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm not going to say guns aren't content, because they objectively are, but I get what you mean. To me, I just don't really, they're not that exciting, because maybe the exception being in All Out Warfare, because there was so few that we needed more. So I'm excited when we get new guns, but it's not like the most exciting thing. And I feel like most people kind of like feel that same way, but maybe I'm just guessing. I don't know, but the fact they haven't added a single map to Portal is
it's depressing.
Painful.
Well, I had this discussion in the Discord about like what there was some discussion on like what kind of content is coming in season 5. Are we getting a new map? Are we getting a new specialist? Well, we aren't getting a new specialist in season 5, but we will be getting a new map, at least new to Battlefield 2042, because the rumors are that it's going to be a new map, but it's going to be inspired from a map in the past.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued to hear more about that, actually.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. But like, I was just saying in there, like, when it comes to content that I'm here for, like the thing I'm excited most around Battlefield 2042, the map reworks are okay. Like, obviously Breakaway was fantastic. That was awesome. But I'm here for the maps, like the maps and the reworks and updates and that kind of stuff, bug fixes. That's what I'm here for Battlefield 2042 at this point of the game. Like, I want more tangible changes and content to the game instead of a weapon or a couple weapons. Now, I think that's mostly due to we've gotten a lot of weapons in Battlefield 2042. That is definitely part of it, because I remember distinctly of complaining early on in this podcast's beginnings of like, man, we need more weapons, because good gosh, there just weren't many at all in the game. But now that we have them, I'm like, okay, the thing I really want is continuing bug fixes, obviously, and maps. I want new maps. I want cool new maps, because that's what I'm used to in Battlefield, of like comparing the new map numbers from past games to this game is just depressing, and you shouldn't ever do that. Guess it's rough.
Please don't do it.
Yeah. Don't go down that dark path. You won't come back a sane person. But I mean, that's what I'm here for. And I think when they say new content, I'm mostly excited for new maps versus new weapons.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, and I don't expect it. Obviously, we're just going to get one per season, if that. Mm-hmm. But I think if they could literally just add 2 per season, if they even do go past season 5. But like, imagine we do get to season 8, and we actually get 2 maps per season. By the end of the game, that combined with, obviously, they're just always going to continue to like fix the game and make it better. But if we only just got 2 maps a season and like no more guns, no more specialists, and the game is getting fixed alongside that, that would be amazing, because that's, by the end of it, there'd be so many good maps. I'm assuming most of them are going to be good. And the game is already in a much better spot, and it will only get better. And I think that those are the things that, like, playing on a map, and if the game is playing well, weapons become a little bit less important in that situation, because the map is fun and the gameplay is fun. Just use your favorite weapon, if that makes sense. Whereas if there's a million guns, but you're playing on the same map every game, that will get boring. It doesn't matter if you could play a different gun every game, you're on the same map. It just won't be fun. I think that's why maps are so much more important, because it's what you're actually, it's like the key part of the experience, and I guess also the game mode, but Battlefield just got its core modes that I don't feel like we need new modes all the time or anything, but yeah, I think that's why maps are so much more important than everything else.
The reason we care about the maps so much, and why each one has so much riding on it, is because we only get 1 per season. So if it's a bad map, they have no excuse to give us a bad map. That was why everyone complained so much around the maps in the first place when the game launched. Was 1, they were pure garbage, but 2, there were only 7 of them.
Yeah. If they had it launched with like 15 bad maps, I think that would be somehow better than 7 bad maps, even though it sounds dumb. I think.
Yeah.
I'd rather,
at least there's variety.
If it's going to be bad, at least there's variety. Whereas if you only get 1 map and it's just not good, then that is obviously much worse.
Yeah, like it's so annoying, because like you have. Well, my thing is, like, I'd rather have 2 small maps to 1 big map. And as we see continuing on, every time we hear them talk about the next new map, it is smaller than the previous one. They're like, this is the smallest map in Battlefield 2042 so far. And then the next season comes out and they're like, this is the smallest map in Battlefield 2042 so far. And we're focusing on a smaller, more focused play style and area, and a focus on close quarters combat. You're speaking my language, but that's something that like we all knew before the game came out, and they're like, this is the biggest map of Battlefield history, and we only have 7 of them.
They're fully big. Switched from like that being the promotion of this is the big, like when they announced Breakaway, they were like, this is the biggest map in Battlefield history, and that was like and even for me, I was like, oh, that's cool, like that's actually exciting. And then we realized that they all suck when they're big. And now they've literally switched it to now be the promotion is this is the smallest map in the game. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is exciting. Like, it's just mental how that's flipped completely 180 from launch until now.
And with Battlefield as a franchise, like, obviously big maps can work because they've worked in the past. We've had big maps before. Like, that wasn't a new thing. But it was special to have a big map. It wasn't like, oh, all of them are gigantic. It's like, okay, when I want that large-scale Battlefield feel, that is the map that I'm like, okay, I hope I get that one. And I think too, one of the things that really inhibits or I think the thing that's holding Battlefield 2042 back with getting multiple maps a season is the lack of persistent map rotation. Like, they don't have a list that they go through like they did in Battlefront, like they did in Battlefield 5, like they did in Battlefield 1, like they did in Battlefield 4, like they did in Battlefield 3, like they did in Battlefield 1942. Like, that was all intentional. They did it in every single game before this one. And it works because you have, like, the rise and fall. Like, you know that, oh, hey, here I am on this map. Well, it might not be my favorite. There's some things to love about it. But I'll get another one next time. We're in, like, Battlefield 1. Like, you got to vote for what the next map was. Yeah, and that was fun, too.
That was the case with Battlefront, was that I didn't like Crate, but I knew that there was like 5 good maps after Crate, and so I got a lobby of Crate, and instead of just being like, oh, I can't be bothered, I'll back out, I was like, I'll just play this map, and then I'm on to 5 good maps afterwards.
Yeah.
In this game, if I join a bad map, I don't know what's next, and I just go, well, I'm not going to sit here and hope it's a good one, because it probably won't be, so I just back out. And it's just, it's so important.
But then you should restart your opportunity to get that map again. Like, if you have a 1 in 10 chance, or I don't know if it was more than that, honestly, but let's just say it's a 1 in 10 chance that you're going to get Hourglass. Well, every time you may have gotten Spearhead, but you go back to the menu, you have a 1 in 10 chance to get that map. It's not consistent, and with the bug that they have currently that they're trying to fix, you could get Hourglass. Okay, there's Spearhead. Nope. Oh, nope. It's not full. So go back. Oh, nope. Hourglass. Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, it's really just confusing. I don't know how we've gotten to the, like, surely they just understand that it's just easier. I'm not even talking it's better, like, oh, do all this for us because it's, even though it's harder for you, it's better for us. It's not even harder for them, as if that's not easier to do. They've literally done it in every game.
Yeah.
I actually don't know how it's, I would rather them cut corners and just do what the last game did with that. Like, save some time. Don't make a new system. That's a waste of time. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that just annoys me. And unfortunately, I just don't think it will be fixed. So
yeah,
I try my best to not even think about it, because I just get annoyed, and then I can't do anything about it. I can't be like, oh, well, this is annoying, so I'm going to go and tell them. They're not going to listen. Then they would have listened by now. So it's just pointless, really. And it's sometimes you got to just be like, I'll just got to drop it, because it makes me incredibly angry. It's the same as the server browser thing. It makes me literally, like, livid. I get so annoyed. And
especially after the whole thing last episode, where, like, in the podcast that they did, they're like, well, we're still trying to figure out how to best solve that problem. It's like, it wasn't a problem in all of the Battlefield games previous to this one.
Yeah.
Like, did you not play those games? Did you not understand?
So much more, doesn't it? It's like, if they didn't say that, I would be less annoyed, but it's now like they're acting confused. Like, there's this problem. Not sure how to fix this. Weird. Should we like, brainstorm a new idea? And all of us are just like, mate, please just go back to what you had. It's glaring, like, that's the obvious, like, it's literally staring you in the face. Like, the server browser is screaming, please put me in All Out Warfare. And they're just like, did you hear that? I can't really hear anything.
What was going? What? What? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What? Also, correction as we're on the topic from of like stuff that covered in the last episode. The Big Sam commented on YouTube because we were complaining about we didn't have a Snowy Forest map, and he's like, "Battle of the Bulge, come on guys, it's literally right there."
Oh, true. Yeah. I knew that there was one, but I was thinking of Battlefield 1 for some reason. I don't know, but yeah. Even that though, that's not really in the forest, is it? It's like,
yeah.
I'm thinking like,
well, my
indoor,
response was like 1
snow.
against 20.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Like if you percentage wise versus the whole of the maps, like the amount of percentage to those. But yes, there is Battle of the Bulge, which is more of like,
I do like Battle of the
it
Bulge.
is a good map. That is a fantastic map. The first like week I was playing Battlefield 2042, I was just playing Portal and I was just playing Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, they had that like World War II playlist in there.
Oh, so good. Fun. Yes. I mean, that was my first week of experiencing Battlefield 2042 was like just playing 1942 in Battlefield 2042.
Yeah. It's weird because that's what we all thought was going to be the thing. I think we all thought Portal was going to be the game, like the key element, and it just, I don't know, it just never became that for some reason.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It had a lot of potential there, and I think if they really valued it, they could have continued updates with that. Like, I think, like we were just saying, you could add new eras of Battlefield, new maps from Battlefield games. Like that's clear live service. And I still am thinking of like, I still believe in my heart of hearts that if they wanted to release Battlefield Portal as a free-to-play game, they totally could, and have each season based around a past Battlefield game and then just do skins. Like, I think that could have been pretty successful.
Yeah. 100%. That would be so good. Imagine like I would be excited. Battlefield 1 season, I'd be playing every day. Like,
oh yeah,
they definitely could have done that. And then the only real issue with that being the free to play part was then they'd never make any sales on the actual game.
Yeah,
because what's the point? Unless they like excluded the 2042 content, maybe.
Yeah,
but that would be just a weird decision. But then also, you could
honestly, it'd be a better game.
Skins and that. Yeah, true. So I would love that one day, maybe down the line, so that we get a break from it. But like, in 10 years to just release a game called Battlefield Portal, and it's just like that, and it can be free, and just do a bunch of skins, and
that'd be so fun.
Yeah, I would love that, because I think if it was their main focus too, I think it would have gone really well. Because when you look at how far 2042 has come, the game has come a long way. And imagine if Portal actually started in a decent spot outside of just the general bugs of the game. Imagine if they started in that spot and then did all this work, it would actually be like, it'd be in a pretty good spot, I reckon. So
yeah, I mean, we haven't had an experience in the last decade of a DICE game coming out. It's like, man, this is great, fully no problems or anything like that. We always have the experience of them like, okay, they release something that has potential and then they work to make it better. There's always that discussion of like, what if they just, this is a really controversial thought, what if they just made a good game and then they put all of the effort in supporting that like they do? Like, if they started from where Battlefield 2042 is now, what could we have been getting at this point?
I honestly say this, I think it would potentially be the best Battlefield ever if it started at this point and they did all the same body of work to make it better and add content. I genuinely think I'd be sitting here today being like, this game's better than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. I really think that, but unfortunately that is obviously not what happened. And yeah, I just hope that that's my biggest hope for the next game. I don't care about the setting. I don't care how much content. I don't care anything. I just want it to launch.
Yeah.
And like a month after launch, when we kind of have the time to have played enough and review it, to be like, you know what, this game is pretty good. Like, it's launched well. That's all I want, because then from there I know it will just get better. And so yeah, that's literally my biggest hope for the game. Just don't be bad.
Don't be bad. But on that topic, where do you think that this is another discussion from the Discord? Are we going to be getting a map rework in Season 4? I would assume yes, just knowing their track record. But my theory is that I don't think we're going to get 2.
I think I agree with that.
I think we're going to get discarded, reworked in Season 4, late Season 4. And then we're going to get, as far out as humanly possible for them, Hourglass.
Yeah, I reckon the same. I think that Hourglass obviously needs more work. That said, Discarded is also pretty bad, so I'm not
it's
sure.
bad in a different way, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to put a finger on it. It's like with Hourglass, you know what needs to be changed. It's just too spread out and too open, and the points of interest are in bad areas. Really just squeeze it all together and put a lot more cover, and maybe add like an extra
couple buildings
area out in the desert. And I feel like that's fixed. It's kind of like what they did with Breakaway. They just squeezed it all together and added some more cover.
Yeah.
Discarded's got heaps of cover, and the points of interest, like the central boat in Conquest, is really fun. So I don't know why the map sucks, because it really does suck. I really think that is a bad map, but I don't know why. I think it just is maybe laid out weirdly, or it is very flat also. I think it would be good if it had a bit more like elevation to it. But then there's also been plenty of flat maps in the past that are good. So I don't know. It's a weird one. I couldn't even give advice on, if they said like, what do you think needs to be done? I think my answer would literally be, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to help you there, guys. But I don't know what needs to be fixed.
It's weird too, because I think with the game in the state that it is, we are honestly, like, we have some great choices for Battlefield maps now. Like, honestly, they're fun. There's a good variety of them with the new maps that they've got. The only problem is they had the launch maps they did not hit. Like, they weren't, they were not what we all wanted, unfortunately. And the weird thing with Discarded is we also got stranded in between from when the game came out to now. And Stranded is just like the better version of Discarded.
Yeah. Discarded is just Stranded from Wish. It is literally just a bad version. Like, it's just a bigger... It looks boring. It's brown. It's just not fun to look at.
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. It's literally just bad Stranded. I don't know how else to explain it.
Which is... it's weird, because I think... I'm trying to pull up what they say about Discarded here. Along a strategic section of India's west coast, colossal ships stranded on the beach are being stripped for parts. Fight among the hulls of these behemoths while adapting to deadly storms. And I think visually, just from the image that they have here, you can, at least I can tell what's wrong here. And it is one ship, a crap ton of storage containers, like a weird village outpost. And then in the far distance are other ships. Shrink everything, bring more ships, like have ships that are on top of each other, like just that were blown over when there was a big, massive flood.
Into each other and stuff. Yeah.
Do something like that. And then you have people that are like, basically treat all of these ships like massive star destroyers, and this is Jakku.
Yeah.
Because the Jakku map in Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 2015, honestly, like, they were both pretty fun.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a pretty similar type of map where it's just really just like a desert with heaps of like scrap around the place. And yet, Jakku was... The 2015 version of Jakku was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great map.
It was so fun.
So, Yeah, it's confusing. Like I said, though, I don't even know what is on paper. It should be good. It's got the key points of interest. There's plenty of cover and stuff. It just isn't fun. I don't know. Maybe it's just not a good map. Maybe they can't fix that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah. On that thought, do you think they would ever just remove a map? Like, just be like, hey, we're removing it?
Initially, I thought no, but potentially they would, because maybe if, like, let's just say they get Hourglass to a really good spot, and then, look, to be fair, I think, like, Kaleidoscope and some of those other, like, Manifest and stuff, I still think they're not that good, but they might just be like, well, we fixed all of the others on this one, we just, if it's not fixable, maybe you just remove it. I also don't know if they would, because I think the backlash should be astronomical if they just delete content. I can just already tell. Even though I personally wouldn't care, I'd be like, whatever. I don't like the map, so do what you want with it. But I think the community would be like, oh my god, after all this, they're now deleting content, and there's even less for us to play. Blah blah blah. Like, it would just be bad PR for them. So I'm gonna lean no, but potentially, and for me, like, I wouldn't care less if they did. I would be like, well, fair enough. I don't like it, so it just means I'm not going to accidentally get in that lobby. So fine by me.
I hope that they would be like, yeah, this isn't working. But I wonder if they just keep it as it is and just throw more storage containers on it instead of just being like, we're going to remove it. I think that's DICE's version of removing a map, is just like, okay, we'll sprinkle it. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I wonder, like, this late in the game's life cycle, obviously with another game, if it has, like, a year on a multiplayer shooter game, over a year on, multiple years on for a multiplayer shooter game, is expected now. Fortnite has been around how long, and it is still continuing to evolve and update and get new players on, as well as continue to tell its story. But, and you even have, like, the classic example of this is Rainbow Six Siege, where they released the game, it was subpar, and they continued to put effort and work into it. It was a much smaller game than Battlefield, I will admit that, but it was still among those kinds of, like, yeah, this game is all right, and then they just kept on going. They put the work into it, and then they just kept supporting it.
Yeah.
And obviously they're working on a new Battlefield game, but I hope that they have the foresight to say, yes, we're going to continue working on this game, and we want to at least fix what we started with. I think they said that they've mentioned other ideas around the reworks. I fully expect that we will get a discarded rework before an Hourglass, because I think Hourglass just needs so much more time and effort into it.
Yeah, I think Hourglass is almost like start from scratch. Like, it's such a big project that it definitely needs more time. Whereas, yeah, with Discarded, I feel like Discarded will just get one of those fixes where kind of like Renewal, maybe, where they really just, it's not that different. They just literally just added more cover to the points of interest, and in the
Kaleidoscope
in the
too.
areas between, there's not that much change. There's no added cover in, like, the fields between each flag. It's just like on the flag there's more cover, and I feel like that will be discarded. I think they'll just improve the points of interest, maybe move some flags around a little bit, and that's probably it. And I don't know, maybe it can work. Maybe, you know, Kaleidoscope, I think, is an example of a map that they fixed, and it still, for me, isn't that good, but it's definitely better than it was, and it's like, it is an improvement. It's just like, it's a 0.5% improvement. That's the only issue. So I think they'll probably just do that with Discarded, and then put all of their effort into Hourglass, and then obviously, like, the new maps and stuff. I'm sure there's different teams that work on each of those different areas, but yeah, I think I'd prefer that. I think I want Hourglass. I think of all the maps, if you ask me which maps do you want to be the best by the end, I probably would have said Breakaway and Hourglass because they're so different from each other and they look so good.
Mm-hmm.
But they just sucked. And I think if they kind of just don't put as much effort into Discarded so that they can put more effort into Hourglass, I'm fine with that because I think Hourglass could end up like a Breakaway where it's like, wow, this is a really good map now and it looks so good. It is like a beautiful map. It looks so good, and then the sandstorm comes in and the city lights up, and it's just like it has so much potential. So yeah, I kind of hope that that's the case. I'd obviously hope they can also make Discarded one of the best in the game. Like I want them to do that for every map, but I don't think that's realistic. So I kind of think that Discarded should just like take a hit and then pretty much
sacrifice Discarded for Hourglass.
Yeah, essentially.
I would subscribe to that. I think if I was given the choice, if they're looking at like, hey, we only have limited time, we don't necessarily know if we're going to get a season 6. If they aren't confident that they can get Discarded going for a season 4, but we'll probably know that next week or the week after, maybe. If we don't get the announcement that Discarded's getting reworked in season 4, I hope they make the decision to focus on Hourglass because I think that's more in need of a fix.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, because that's the thing. I don't think Discarded's a good map, but it's playable at least because the main point of interest in the boat, I just kind of stick to that, and that is actually a fun area, whereas on Hourglass, there's not really any area that I like.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that little village, but that's like it's such a small section. And then the stadium, it's okay, but it's not that good still. So yeah, I think Discarded is still playable, even though I think it's one of the worst in the game, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But Hourglass is genuinely like not fun. I just skip every time. If I get put in that lobby, I'm backing out straight away.
Yeah, both Discarded and Hourglass, which are the last two left, are the ones that are like, oh dang it, come on, please, why? Yeah. If we're like power ranking the maps, I'd say like Kaleidoscope, Orbital, Renewal, and Manifest are all on the same level. And then at the very bottom, we've got F tier, or even worse than F tier, we've got Hourglass and Discarded. And then top tier, we've got Stranded, Exposure, Spearhead, and Breakaway now. Like I think those are if we're power leveling these maps, that's what I would rank them as.
Yeah, I think I'd be this. The only change I would make would be, I think Orbital needs its own bracket between the top tier and the rest of the maps it was named with, because I think it's a little better than those, but it's also not even close to the top one. So, but everything else I completely agree with. Like, there's just such an obvious. I think literally 99% of players would agree with that. Like, there's just a very obvious list of which maps are good and which are not, which is pretty rare in most games. Like, most maps are kind of all just pretty even, and then it really is just like subjective. Like I play better on this one, or I like the look of that one better, or whatever. It's pretty rare. They'll usually be like an objectively best map that's just like the fan favorite, but
yeah,
it's pretty rare that it's like this, where it's like these are the objectively good maps, these are the objectively bad maps. Like that does not happen in most shooters.
There wasn't necessarily that. If I'm like thinking back to Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 2015, like I don't necessarily think, obviously crate, but sometimes you get in the mood for crate on it. Like sometimes you just feel like, I want to get totally destroyed, but have fun about it.
Yeah.
I can't say that there's like a standout map or maps where I'm like, that if they could have reworked those. Also, just like on that mindset, I don't know if there are any other games where they've gone back and reworked the maps. Have like to this degree?
Not that I can remember.
At least that I've played.
Small changes, but nothing you would consider a rework. It might be just like there's a piece of cover in the corner that's bugged, and if you go near it, it makes you invisible, so they just delete the cover. Like, that's happened, but that's not a rework. That's just fixing a map. Like, I don't think I've ever played a game, at least not, like, if I did, it would have been years and years ago, that, yeah, they've, like, fully reworked the maps. Especially, maybe, like, I'm sure there's been games that have put them in, like, playtesting, and then people said, wow, this really needs to be fixed, and then they maybe like delay the map and rework it before it's actually launched. I'm sure that's happened, but never when it's like public. I've never seen a game that's been like, these maps suck, so we're gonna go fix them.
Yeah,
pretty big thing to say.
Turns out we were terrible, and we're gonna fix that. Which it's good. Like, there are other studios. Like, if Call of Duty was like came out with a terrible map, do you think they would go back and rework it?
They would just be like, are you joking? This is the best map that's ever been made in any shooter. And they just stick to their guns on it.
Exactly. They'd be like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but like, you're playing it wrong.
Yeah.
It's not us. It's you.
Yeah.
You're the problem.
Literally, they would be like, it's just, your playstyle's just wrong. You just suck at the game. Get good.
Yeah.
That's literally what they would say.
Exactly. But I mean that I think that's why we're all still fans of Battlefield. Like, that is the reason that we're all still here, that we have a podcast that we're talking about this game, is because Battlefield is unique and DICE is unique in how they approach their game development. Obviously, they don't necessarily have a good track record with releasing great games, but they do have a good track record of bringing games back from death and putting in the time and listening to their communities about it.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, any other studios that are consistent. Obviously, there's been games that have turned around as well. You look at like Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky and that, but that's like a one-off. DICE has done it that many times now. It's literally almost every game that they've released is bad, and then it becomes good. There's no other studio that I can think of that's like consistent with it.
I mean, Andrew Wilson said it best. They've done this before.
Yeah. How about why don't we try and get them to not do it next time?
Yeah.
Maybe that should be their goal. How about, Andrew Wilson, you just tell them, hey, why don't we release a good game this time? Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. I know you guys can do this, but let's try for you not to do this.
Let's just try not, though. Like, I know you can do that, but, like, don't, if that's possible.
Yeah. Don't. That is it. Exactly. But I think there's some good there's some good things on the horizon. I'm really excited to see what is coming for season 4. The map looks very interesting from the concept art that we've seen. It looks like it's going to be smaller scale, but also have some interesting verticality in the almost hangar space that they have. So I think that's going to be interesting. It's giving me like the Dockyard map vibes.
It's giving me, I think it reminds me, and I don't know why, because there's nothing in terms of like that verticality that you mentioned, and even just like the underground looking section. It's nothing like it, but it gives me Operation Firestorm vibes from Battlefield 3. I don't know why. I'm not sure why, but every time I've seen it, I'm like, reminds me of that map.
Yeah.
I'm literally dumb for thinking that. It doesn't look anything like it. But it's just, I don't know. It's just the one that I keep getting. Every time I've seen the screenshots of the concept art, I'm like, Operation Firestorm.
I can see it. We'll see how it goes. Next episode, I think, is going to be really fun because we should have, if not official news, a lot more information coming out, leaks, but we'll have some fun discussions on what we can expect and what we might be able to see, what we're looking forward to. And then, of course, the start of the season should be coming up here soon, right? Because we've only got less than 2 weeks left in the month.
Yeah.
We've gotten all the content. We're in the middle of February right now. And it's about time that we start getting rumblings and seeing what's going to happen. And I'm so pumped about this new map. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, it looks. They've all looked interesting, and they've all, like we said, they've said about all of them that they're smaller. But this one looks like a small map. Like, I wouldn't say Spearhead is a small map, but this one looks like it is literally like I'm not going to say like Operation Locker, but it looks like it will be that type of map, and that is very exciting to me because I know you're the same. That's literally what we've been begging for. So I'm really keen. And they also said in the last patch notes that they're obviously going to start putting the patch notes out a week early too. So we should get the news next week by that logic. If it's dropping this month, the patch notes should be here by our luck, the minutes before we record the podcast.
We're going to think about pressing join call, and that's when it will come out. But because like we're recording this on Wednesday right now, and the next week when we record at a normal time, it will be the 23rd. So if we're looking at that, we'll have 5 days to go until the end of February, which is a Tuesday. Yeah. So we'll probably get into the same situation where they drop it on the last possible day to still be considered
I would
in
almost
February.
confirm that. Like, I'm confident to say that's definitely happening. 100%.
If that doesn't happen, like, I would be so surprised.
Yeah.
Especially after last update. I don't see how they don't do that.
Yeah. 100%. And it looks like, I'm looking at the next months, and it looks like all of them will be dropping in the last week too. So by that logic, if it does drop on the 28th, that gives them like exactly 4 weeks between each one. So it definitely makes sense. So we realistically should get the patch notes on like Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and then the update on the Tuesday the 22nd. The 28th. Sorry.
And probably the day before the update drops, so that 27th, that Monday, we'll probably get the podcast episode.
Yeah, true.
If I would have to wager, I'd say the week prior, we'll get the patch notes, obviously. And then the Monday, we'll get the podcast. And then the Tuesday, the release will happen. Like, it'll be ready to download live and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm okay with. It gives, for our podcast schedule, honestly, gives us some great time gives us some time to play the update a pretty good amount of time. Hop on the episode and record.
Yeah, I actually really like the Tuesday updates for that reason, because it's just less of a... When it drops on the Thursday night and we record on a Friday morning, like my time, that is chaos, because it's like it drops at 8 p.m. I've got to download it, and then I'm early. I go to bed that early because I wake up so early. Yeah. So it's like a late night for me, and then I got to play enough. I have to play enough because I know if I get on the podcast and haven't played, that's just dumb. Yeah. So it's always stressful. So when it's on the Tuesday, it's like I just download it. I don't even play it the night of because it's late at night and I work the next day, and then I get home from work on the Wednesday and have plenty of time to play. So I'm actually a fan of the Tuesday updates now.
Yeah, it's good. Good job, Dice. We appreciate it. I know they do so much for our podcast schedule.
We must have mentioned somewhere along the way that Tuesday would be better for us, and they
somehow in our private Discord channel where it's just you and I, they somehow have access and know our recording schedule and all of that fun stuff, including when we record early, because we've recorded early before and they still dropped it earlier.
Yeah, they still dropped it early. I think that was when they changed it to... Instead of being the Thursday, they changed it to the Tuesday, and we were like, what the hell? How's this happening?
Yeah, because we recorded early that one week, and they're like, oh, let's drop it early, and then continue to drop it this time. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. But with that, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Battlefield Show. Let us know your thoughts. What do you expect to see in Season 4? And do you think that we'll be getting Discarded and Hourglass reworks? Let us know in the comments or contact at uplinkpodcast.com. And hey, in the description of this episode is a way to join the Discord. Hop in. We have some great discussions on Battlefield. It's honestly one of our busiest channels. There's always some good discussion going on. It's always a fun time. And hey, check out Sammy Boy's YouTube channel and our podcast YouTube channel as well. As always, we'd like to thank Ethan Clark for the beautiful thumbnail, all of you for listening, and we'll see you on the battlefield.